Welcome to Your Need to Know. I'm your host, Catherine Reed, and joining me tonight is Jennifer Rose. She is the Executive Director of the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce. And I've previously spoken with Jennifer about her role as the Executive Director, but tonight's show, I really wanted to talk about the many ways in which the Chamber collaborates with organizations in our community to provide programming and events and things that truly impact the community. And I don't think the Chamber quite gets the visibility as a partner in some of these events and programming and efforts here in Fairfax, the city and the suburbs. So I wanted to bring Jennifer on again to talk a little bit about how the Chamber is a real community partner. So Jennifer, tell our viewers sort of what it has meant to be a community partner as the Chamber.
Oh gosh, Catherine, thanks so much for having me back. It's always fun talking to you and just bragging on all the good things the Chamber does and how important it is to be a part of the community, whether you're a resident, a business, or an organization like ours. Partnership and collaboration is something that I speak fluently. In fact, I joke and say it's my middle name. Prior to coming to work for the Chamber, I worked for a couple of different nonprofits in this area. I worked with Northern Virginia Family Service, which is a huge mega nonprofit with, I don't know, I think they're up to 400 employees by now, and they serve the entire region. But most recently, I worked for Bright Paths, which was formerly known as Our Daily Bread. It was a small but growing nonprofit when I was there. And my time there is what really lent to me how important collaboration is in order to leverage the meager resources you may have. So that's kind of where my backstory on partnership and collaboration. It has led me down many roads, including a teaching gig at George Mason for a while. I used to guest lecture on partnerships and collaborations, and then that led me into teaching a whole class on the nonprofit sector, which was a lot of fun. But my chamber gig got too big and got in the way of grading all those papers. But in order for an organization to really leverage its resources, it has to work with other organizations, small or large. We as a chamber work very closely with a few different organizations or will partner and collaborate with. The City of Fairfax, their Economic Development Office, we partner with them on several initiatives. Probably the most visible one is Restaurant Week, which happens in the City of Fairfax I guess once a year, but starting next year, we're going to, I think, do two, which is exciting. We partner with the city's Economic Development Office on Small Business Saturday, on, the Chocolate Lovers Festival. There's pieces and parts to that economic development is behind. There's things we do with George Mason in partnership. It's a lot of fun. We also work very closely with the Old Town Fairfax Business Association, which is a newer organization in the city. But we have worked with them on several initiatives. Most recently, the Patriot Perks program at George Mason, which helps get businesses enrolled in a program where they offer a discount to the George Mason community. And I'm talking students, faculty, staff, retirees, and alumni. And there's a whole bunch of them in this area. They get a lot of great publicity and marketing support just for offering that discount to members of that Mason community. So that's been a very exciting collaboration with Old Town Fairfax Business Association.
And that's a win-win for everybody, right? So yes. Everybody in the community wins. But one of the things I want you to talk about is the Asian Festival on Main that was in July.
Yep.
And
I was getting ready to hit that.
I was sorry to miss it because we were away. We were in New York that weekend, but I saw in my newsfeed, Facebook, everything, all these photographs. It was a huge festival. It was the first of its kind in Fairfax City. And I was like, dang, and I missed it. But talk about how that came together, because I did not know any of the backstory or who was involved, but it was an amazing success.
So the chamber played just a supportive role in that. It came from a couple of local business owners in the city. Wendy Wong from the Standard Barbershop, Jensen from Highside were two of the key business owners who were like, we need to do something to support the Asian business community. We know last year there was a lot of negative things that were happening to the Asian community because of COVID. And they just threw out this idea, and Old Town Fairfax Business Association is right there. They jumped right in, and they've never planned an event quite so large. And I am just blown away that they managed to plan this event, and I believe it was 4 months, Catherine.
Wow, that's amazing.
4 months. I started attending their meetings, and I told Shannon Duffy, their executive director, I'll just be a fly on the wall at your meetings. I want to help you if I can help you. If I hear things that I know I can help you, like, oh, I can make an introduction to H Mart, they're a chamber member, or here's some sponsorship potentials, or let me add another level of sponsorship for you. And it was great. I sat back, I was quiet, offered input when they needed it, but they knocked it out of the park. I was there that day. It was a very hot and very long day, but I didn't mind. It was kind of nice being working on an event that I had no real responsibility for.
Isn't it nice to be the consultant on the, I'm just here as
Yeah.
a consultant and don't
I'm
call
just
me if
here,
there's an
just,
emergency.
tell me what you want me to do. But I mean, we had an information booth there, but I was there all day to help support them. They were hoping to have 5,000 attendees if they were lucky. They had more than 7,000.
Yeah, it was a huge festival.
And even considering that it was their first event, there were a few hiccups here and there. But only the experienced eye noticed them.
Right. And I would say that if you had a seamless first event planned in 4 months, you should be hiring yourself out to do this full time. So I think a few hiccups, not a problem. So do you think this is going to be an annual event?
Yes, I do know that they are planning to do it again in May, which is the Asian and Pacific Islanders month. I believe May the 15th is the date, but don't quote me on that. But yes, they are planning to do it in May, and we will be there again to help support them.
So that to me is just like, this is when you talk about collaboration and the fact that you just can't do the big things unless you have people helping you out. And to me, the Asian Festival, and I had no idea that it was pulled together in 4 months, which is astonishing, especially during COVID. So that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, they had an amazing committee that they had put together that worked. An amazing.
I know.
Committee.
I saw their names, and of course, I love High Side is one of my favorite places, and we've got 2 city council members, Sang Yi and So Lim, who I think were very instrumental, and business owners. Just a lot of people pitched right on in and said, "Let us help." And so,
and the city as well with Parks and Rec, they provided a ton of support. It was just a great example of what good can come when everybody works together.
And this is kind of part of something that everybody's interested in. City Council, the EDA, the Chamber is making the places in Fairfax, and I won't just say historic Fairfax City, although I have a deep interest in that, but it's to make destination places and destination events for people who live in Springfield or Loudoun County or some other place, and they don't come here unless there's a reason to come here. They don't commute through here. There's no reason to have us in their mental space. And so when we do things that make Fairfax a destination or make business places a destination, again, it's a win-win. I think the Rock the Block events have been such a boon also. I mean, I'm not the expert, tell me, but it seems to me Rock the Block has been a boon to area businesses.
Oh, I think so. This year I started emceeing Rock the Block for the city. They do such an amazing job. Parks and Rec. Mitzi Taylor she's amazing at putting these events on. She makes it look so easy. And I mentioned to her several months ago, she was, public speaking, not my favorite thing to do. And I'm so busy. And I'm like, Mitzi, I can always MC something for you. I'm an experienced MC with or without a script. And her eyes got this big. She's like, can you do all the Rock the Blocks? And I could do all but one. And everybody comes up to me, while the band's playing to tell me how much they love the event, that they're coming in from Vienna, they're coming in from Loudoun, from Springfield, from Annandale, Oakton. They come to the city to enjoy what we have to offer. The music's great, the food's great, the restaurants are hopping. Even afterwards, because I usually don't get to eat until afterwards, and I've got to find one where I can get in to get a table. Right. But it's been great. I mean, the Fall Festival was just in the city on Saturday. I have not heard the number of people that attended, but it looked like a pre-COVID Fall Festival to
It
me.
did.
I've
It
worked
did.
at
I
Fall
was
Festival
there.
for many years. The after
I
concert
agree.
was great. A good crowd for that. And people do, they love coming in. We offer, or the city offers, a great quality event that is well run, and it's just fun to support them. I wish that we could do more to help support them, but my membership base isn't quite big enough yet for me to really go all in to support them. But that's why we're here. The more members I have, the more great we can do in the community.
And I think it's important, really, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about this. It is important to show businesses that these collaborations and the things that the chamber participates in gives them another avenue of participation as well.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, a great
and
example is the Fall Festival. The city gives us and the Old Town Fairfax Business Association 24 booths, 24 down Sager Avenue, where we make them available to our members at no cost. First come,
wow,
first serve, and they have to do a carnival game or activity, so it's not like they can just sell their wares.
yeah.
But it's such a great opportunity for them to, raise their profile in the city. Here we are. This is who I am. This is what I do. And we were really busy on Saturday. I'm still a little achy and tired from a full day. But that's just, one great example of how we can engage the business community and things that are going on in the city, who may not be a business that's actually in Old Town. They may be a little further out in the city, or they may be in the county.
That's exactly right. And that's one of the things that, I love how you call it, the suburbs of Fairfax City. I love that because I live in the city. But you're right, because some people who are in a specific place, and I would say even Cameron's Coffee and Chocolates, who was at the festival, they're in a strip shopping center. And so if you weren't going to go there, you wouldn't know that they were there. They don't get foot traffic. So without foot traffic or people accidentally finding you, then it makes it a challenge to bring people in when you're out someplace, not in a highly pedestrian trafficked
Mhm.
location. And so we're going to go to a break. And when we come back from the break, I want to talk to you a little bit more about how you partner with a number of nonprofits in the area and how you lift up the visibility of their fundraising. And I know that at heart, you will always be a development person and your heart will always be in nonprofits. So please join us after the break when we continue to talk with Jennifer Rose.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things. 2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks. Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator. My game was so successful, the principal is deploying it to math squadrons all over the school. Anywho, how was your day?
Oh, today my boss treated the office to salad wraps.
Salad wraps.
No.
Every day.
Millions of people are connecting
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an
to
effort.
get to know each other,
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
Mentor.
Actor.
it's time we take a step forward
it's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Talk to your doctor about creating a plan that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Welcome back to Your Need to Know. I'm your host, Catherine Reed, and joining me tonight is Jennifer Rose. She is the Executive Director of the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce. And I wanted to speak with Jennifer about the many community programs, events, and collaborations they have with nonprofits and other groups that are in the community who benefit from the support of chamber members. So, Jennifer, I was looking on your website, and I encourage everyone to look on your website because you have a full calendar of not only the chamber events and programs, but all kinds of events for other organizations like the Arc of Northern Virginia, for instance. Explain to our viewers how the chamber works to help your not just your member organizations, but community organizations in trying to achieve their goals.
Yeah, our events page is definitely one of the most robust calendars you will find in the area, and that is intentional. I go out on purpose and look for events that I think would be of use, interest, benefit to our members and the community at large. On average, we'll have probably 60 to 75 events on our calendar in any given month. Out of those, only 8 to 12 are events that the chamber is either hosting or co-hosting with another group. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, your chamber's crazy busy. I'm like, no. But we have great partners in the community. We post events that the Small Business Development Center may be having. In fact, I just posted a new one today for one on workforce development that they're going to do next week. The Greater Washington Board of Trade, they've got great events. We're not a member of theirs, but we can access their events if we want, and they have some good stuff. So we put their events on there. You mentioned the Arc of Northern Virginia. The Arc is a great chamber member, and they actually put that event on the calendar themselves because our members can put their events on the calendar. But oftentimes for our nonprofit members, I'll be more proactive and do it for them because they're busy. They're busy raising money. They're busy raising awareness. But I think I've just got Howard and his crew at the Arc trained a little bit better than some of my others. But no, I do. I purposely go out. I mean, earlier this month, we were promoting the Suicide Prevention Foundation's walk that was on October the 2nd. Some of our young professional committee members and myself volunteered that day because they were desperate for volunteers, more so than they were for walkers. But we all signed up to volunteer, and then we all signed up to be a virtual walker. So it was win-win all around. Bright Paths had an event last week, I believe it was. Their event was on the calendar. We have, I think, 22 nonprofits in the chamber. So I try to make sure that their fundraising events are on the website, on our events page. The partner events, I go look at the Fairfax County EDA's calendar. I go look at George Mason's calendar. George Mason's a member, but oh my gosh, there's so many silos there, so many things going on. I try to look for things that would be of interest for the members there. But we definitely have a robust calendar. We have members that put their own networking events on. I know Russ McIntosh, who is my ambassador committee chair, he is like the city of Fairfax's cheerleader. He has a small graphic design firm called Vision Idea Design, but he also hosts once a month he calls it the middle of the month, middle of the week, middle of the day business meetup. And we do it, that's right, in the middle of the month at noon on a Wednesday at Patriots Pub and Grill. And it's a great networking event. He usually features and highlights either a nonprofit in the community or a business. It's a lot of fun. We've got, Nexco, which is very similar to BNI. They have events on our calendar. They're a chamber member. 1 Million Cups is a chamber member. I don't know how familiar you are with 1 Million Cups, Catherine, but that's a great organization that helps provide amazing support to an entrepreneur who may be having a problem with their business. They've got an issue they're kind of stuck on, and they'll present it to the group via Zoom these days on a Wednesday morning. And everybody that's on that call starts chiming in with advice or information. It's such a powerful thing.
That's great. That's peer mentoring. And I didn't really know that you even had a vehicle to do that sort of peer mentoring. So no, I'm not familiar with that program, and now you've piqued my curiosity.
Well, 1 Million Cups, it's nationwide. It's probably worldwide. The Kauffman Foundation out in Kansas, I think they're in Kansas. That's their baby. And there's a chapter in Fairfax. They used to meet in Tyson's before COVID. There's also a Prince William chapter, and I think there's a Loudoun chapter. But it's this amazing program where you present your business, a little background, and what your problem is. It could be anything from logistics to marketing to getting the right referral partners, and all the people on the call just kind of jump in. They all raise their hands and wait their turns, and they give their 2 cents worth. They put it in the chat. But what I find most interesting about that is, the business owner that's offering advice may be in, I don't know, health food, but they're offering advice on like engineering designs and things. You're like, wow, I didn't know that guy knew stuff like that. How cool is that? So it's a really neat and powerful tool. And we recently this year started partnering with 1 Million Cups. So we promote their events. We're actually going to be featured on there November the 10th. And I'm going to talk about my issue of how do I get you to join the chamber? I tell you all the great things we do, but what's keeping you from joining us? We're not that expensive. We're very reasonably priced. So I'm looking forward to hearing from business owners, like, what is it that they need to hear that will make them commit? So It's a really cool program.
No, you totally piqued my curiosity. I've not heard of them, but you're basically crowdsourcing solutions just in a sharing platform. And that's just, I think that we is in the age of social media, particularly GoFundMe and different ways of crowdsourcing solutions, basically, that more people are comfortable with the idea that you can go and offer, and then you can go and ask, and ideally that's sort of how community works. You give, and then when you need something, the rest of the community helps you. So let's talk a little bit about the overlap with Rotary, because you belong to the City of Fairfax Rotary Club.
Yes.
And the fact that, so you are wearing 2 hats that are somewhat related, because the Rotary Club has been around for a long time. It's older than the chamber. Yes. And so there are people who are probably in both. There's probably a lot of overlap, particularly for what you do in both organizations. So talk a little bit about how that's working for you.
Oh, yeah. Long before I came to the chamber, or even back into Northern Virginia, I've been involved with Rotary. I actually worked for a Rotary Club out west for 5 years before we came to Virginia. Rotary is an amazing organization. They meet weekly. We're meeting via Zoom these days. Their motto is service above self. It's an organization for people to give back to the community. It's not necessarily a networking group. You're not necessarily going to get business from it. In fact, that's not the point at all. The point is to give back to the community. But as we all know, if you're really good at networking and business development, you know that relationships is where it's at. So if you are a part of a group like Rotary, you're building relationships with other people who have similar values as you. I mean, if you want to give back to your community, you want to make the world a better place, then you're probably going to, maybe use them to be your, your pest control person, or maybe do your taxes for you, or what have you. They do work well with each other. Sometimes when I'm at Rotary meetings, instead of saying join Rotary, I say join the chamber. And then sometimes in the chamber, I say join Rotary, because it is a membership organization, but it is all about giving back to the community. With the chamber, you're supporting the business community. Yes, you're helping your own business, but you're also making the business community as a whole stronger, because you're enabling the chamber to lend its resources and support to the community at large. With Rotary does a lot of great projects in the city. They support a lot of the nonprofits that happen to be members of the chamber. They were at the Fall Festival on Saturday. I didn't even get down there to see them. I was so busy at our booth all day.
I took a picture. I'll send it to you.
That'd be great. But yeah, there's a lot of interaction. There are people involved with Rotary that, decades ago, and I do mean decades, were the chairman of our chamber's board of directors. So that's really cool. In fact, our current chair, Doug Church, is long-term treasurer of Fairfax Rotary. And that's how I met Doug. And that's how he got to know me and love me, and then brought me into the chamber. So, Rotary's definitely shaped and impacted my life over, gosh, I've been a Rotarian for almost 19 years now. It's crazy.
And see, in a lot of things, people don't necessarily think of Rotary, and they don't necessarily think that there's a place for women in Rotary. And truly, Rotary is still working on that, getting more women to see themselves as Rotarians, because for many decades prior to 1988, women were not
Mhm.
Rotarians. And so there is a place for women in Rotary. And I think it's important that you are sort of a standard bearer as a past president of your
Mhm.
club and
Yes.
in continuing leadership roles. And the fact that you've got a foot in each of these organizations that serve really important aspects of the Fairfax community. And so I do want you to help people understand that it is about relationships. It is
Mhm.
about doing well while doing good. And
Yes.
sometimes it's about doing good and meeting people and who become lifelong friends. And
Mhm.
because you have a shared value, your club does a lot with scholarships, the youth exchange program. I mean, there's so many programs in Rotary that people don't even know exist.
Mhm.
And so I'm glad that you kind of wear two hats and you wear them very well. And I think how you have brought together the values of both the chamber and Rotary is an amazing thing for Fairfax. It's a real asset to the Fairfax community.
Yes, thank you. It's funny. I tell people, earlier on our previous show, I said I could talk chamber all day. I can talk Rotary all day too. I speak Rotary fluently, I say.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And so I hope what the takeaway is for people who joined us for this half hour is to understand that there are benefits if you're a business owner or a professional in a business. In my Rotary Club, my insurance agent Charles is one of the charter members of my Rotary Club, and he's been my insurance agent for like 13 years. And so if I have a problem, I see him every week. And that's the sort of things that people don't necessarily understand, that is just the side benefit of relationships. Trust,
Yes.
trust relationships, building a network that is both professional and is also grounded in shared values, shared community values. So any parting words you'd like to leave our viewers with, Jennifer?
Well, I will say, if you're not involved with your local Chamber of Commerce, you should check them out. There are plenty in this area to choose from. And if you're not sure, I'm always happy to help talk you through the process.
That is words of wisdom. And if you are a business owner or you work in a business, understand that you can do good and do well and find a community of people who also share that common value. And so for those of you at home, this is what you need to know.